Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, Facebook. Welcome to Freedom Friday. I apologize for being late. Apologize for being late. It's yours if you want it. Anticipate it. Working a miracle just for me. And it's gonna be. Hey, listen, I don't know about you, but I'm excited about my Good morning. How you doing, girl? I get my devices to come on together. Technology, trying to get on. In a minute, and I will be done. Okay. Good morning, good morning. Yeah, I love that song too, Pastor Mike. That's my theme song for this year, for last year. Hallelujah. I hope everybody's going to have a blessed and wonderful Friday. I just have a few thoughts that I wanted to share with us in light of what is all that's been going on, and in light of what we all have been facing as it relates to COVID-19, coronavirus, as some want to call it. Unlike some people, I just want to hear it around because it's wearing me out. But nevertheless, I am grateful to God for you all jumping on this morning and being a part of my Freedom Friday, inspiration, impartation, and information. As I said earlier, I apologize for coming on late, but I want to technology. Okay, I'm gonna read our scripture for today, and our scripture today is coming from 1 Samuel 30, verse 8. That's 1 Samuel 30, verse 8. And it says, "And David inquired of the Lord, shall I pursue this raiding party? Will I overtake them? Pursue them," he answered. "You will certainly overtake them and succeed in your rescue." Another version that reads, I think we're more familiar with, is the King James version, and it says, "And David inquired of the Lord, saying, shall I pursue after this troop? Shall I overtake them? And he answered to them, pursue, for thou shalt surely recover them, and without fail recover all." If I could use for an inspiration topic today, it will be bounce back. It will be bounce back. Given all that we've been going through in the last, I would say, almost 6 weeks, it's really shaping up now that we have to prepare ourselves to bounce back. And so what does that look like? What does bouncing back look like? I don't know if some of you all, I know we're all adults, but I got on one time in one of those bouncy houses with a whole bunch of kids. Now tell me why I got in there, I don't know. I was at a birthday party, so I jumped in and I was bouncing with the kids, but I couldn't get out. The kids bounced up and just jumped right on out. I was left in the bounce house. I couldn't get out because I was stuck. So I had to get one of the workers to come and get me out of the bounce house because I decided I could get in with the kids. But what I realized was their bodies were so light, they could just jump up and bounce out. But I needed assistance in getting out of the bounce house because I was not as light as the ones that were in the bounce house. What am I saying? In order for us to bounce back, it's going to take God to help us. I know what they're saying on the news. I know what they're saying in the TVs, that we can, it's time to start opening back up our states, opening back this, that, and the third. I myself, I'm going to be honest, I'm a little leery about opening back up too soon. Because if you open back up too soon, it can cause the country to relapse. It can cause the country to go back to where we started. So I am asking you today, I know many of you may be ready to go back to what is your norm, which is not the norm that we're going to go back to. But I want to encourage you, don't bounce back too soon because you may relapse. You may find yourself in a relapse situation. David said in here, he said, Lord, shall I inquire? In other words, he said, God, is this worth my time? Is it worth my time going after this truth? Shall I inquire, Lord? And I like the fact that he consulted God on shall he go after. Shall he go after the things that he know that was his? He could have not even asked God, but he asked God, shall I do this, God? Is it good for me? Is this good business that I take on that business venture? Is it good business that I sign that contract? These are the things that we should be asking God. And the Lord saying, shall I pursue? The Lord said, you shall overtake them. He said, you shall overtake them. And he answered them, pursue, for you shall surely overtake them or recover all. The Lord was very persistent and very direct in his statement. He said that not only, David, shall you pursue them, he said, but you're going to recover all. I want to tell you today, if you lost anything during this period of our pandemic, the Lord is saying today, you're going to recover everything that you lost. You're going to recover some things that you thought you didn't even lose. But God said, I want to give you back what is due to you. And the one thing that I love about God, when God blesses you, you don't have to go back and ask for more. It's just like somebody give you a plate of food. You ask, can I have seconds? You don't even have to ask for seconds. Because when God blesses you, when he gives you what you need in your season that you're in, the Lord has a way of making it. It's a sweet spot. It's a very sweet place. And so the thing that David understood is, God, I'm going after these individuals who invaded my camp. God, they came in my camp. I didn't go after them. But God, shall I pursue this truth? Shall I overtake them, Lord? And the Lord answered, pursue. In other words, he told David, you go ahead because I'm with you in this battle. You go ahead. It's time to bounce back. God said, but I'm going to be with you in this battle. But can I admonish you this morning? I want you to be wise in your pursuing. I want you to be wise in pursuing. I don't want you to be very hasty because they're saying in North Carolina, we're gonna open back up on May the 8th. Use wisdom. There's a lot of things about this virus they don't know about. So don't you jump out there too soon and find yourself even carrying the virus or you become a victim to it. So David was saying to the Lord, shall I overtake them? And he answered, pursue, for thou shalt recover all. He said, don't you worry about what is facing you. God said today, don't you worry about what is upon you. He said, you're going to recover and you're going to recover all that you lost as a result of what is going on. So what should you take away from this morning's inspiration? The thing that I want you to get out of anything that I said, that it's time to bounce back, but you cannot bounce back without God on your side. If you bounce back too soon, you can become a victim. But if you bounce back with God's wisdom and God's grace, you will recover everything that you lost in this season. I really believe that. As I was reading last night, and I'm a very avid reader. I love to read different materials. And as I was reading, I come across the scripture. And I said, God, this would be a wonderful scripture for in the morning. And don't be so hasty to go into somebody else's camp. What am I saying? There may be some people that took some things from you. There's been some people that took some things from me during this virus. They came into my camp and took it. And I said, God, it's not fair. Because I said, God, I don't bother nobody. I do what I got to do over here. I'm doing my thing. I'm not consumed by what everybody else is doing. And the Lord said, Erica, it's really not about you. The enemy is trying everything he can to come in and destroy what you built. He said, but Erica, don't you worry about what they did. He said, I'm going to make sure that not only do you recover, but he said, I'm going to pay you back everything that they took. And can I tell you this? The Lord has already begun to do that. He said, what man thought for evil, God said, I'm going to turn it around for your good. You can bounce back. You can recover during this season. You can come back from what the enemy thought he was going to take from you. Let me say it again. You can bounce back from what the enemy thought he was going to take from you. I know there's some people that's talked about you. I know some people that have looked at you funny and strange. I know people have questioned, really, do you have the ability to run this, what you're going on? Let me tell you one thing. If God gave it to you, then God knows that he can trust you with it. Let me say it again. If God gave you this, God can trust you with it. I tell people all the time, you may not understand God's plan, but you can always trust his hand. God has never dealt us a bad hand. Everything that God has given to us, the Bible says it was good. So I want to encourage you this morning. Don't you give up. Don't you quit, because God is well able to do exceedingly and abundantly above all that you could ever ask, think, dream, or imagine. Why? Because he's just good like that. He's just a wonderful God. So on this Freedom Friday, I don't want you to miss God because you're so caught up on what they took from you. I want you to know that you can bounce back. You can recover all. And guess what? You shall recover all. I pray that this Friday be the best Friday that you've ever had. And I pray that God will give you the strength, the wisdom that you need today to make it through the day, because God is well able to do it. So remember, God is the greatest power, and you shall never be defeated. Have a wonderful Friday. I look forward to coming and joining you on next Friday. Grace and peace.